Well, I'm sitting here staring at my iPad thinking, how can I get that thumbnail picture right? Now, what's wrong with what I'm looking at now? Why can't this be my thumbnail picture? The other day when I was doing my video, I thought I'll smile real big and maybe that will end up being my thumbnail. See, I don't know how to do that stuff and I don't want to learn. When I got finished filming and I went back to watch it, I flipped on, turned my video on, and I'm telling you, it looked like this. Now, if that ain't something to put on YouTube as your thumbnail, well, everybody's going to help me and everybody's going to show me how to do it. But they're not here, and if they think they're going to get me on the phone and I'm going to follow their instructions, they don't know me very well. Yeah, I've learned a lot, but they just keep coming up with something new and different. You gotta have this, you gotta do that. If you want a good picture, you gotta do so. My brain won't hold all that information. And in fact, I don't even want to learn it. I just want to turn on this iPad, flick it to on, and start talking. And let my iPad do what it's supposed to do. In this case, I'm almost scared to think what my thumbnail picture's gonna be. Now, Jan and Jessica, they keep offering to help do it for me, but you know, those girls are always busy. They've always got a project. They're always in the middle of something. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to be having another birthday before they get around to being able to show me how to do a thumbnail. Why do I need a thumbnail? This is the only thumbnail I won't fool with, and that's a problem in itself. I'm always having to grab the nail file it down a little bit before it breaks off. Problems. I wouldn't even try to make a list of them because I'd lose all of my viewers if I did. If I talked about all my problems, you'd be running like fire ants from an anthill. Yeah, pretty much like that. I even have trouble picking out the pair of earrings I'm going to wear. Now I look and I'll say, why do I need earrings anyway? In fact, look here. I thought I might put on a pair of rhinestone earrings. So I got my little rhinestone box out. I'll show you. Well, I think I'm going to have to move my screen instead of my tray. There we go. Now, which pair of these earrings do I want to wear today? These are just rhinestones. I want something with color. And then I remembered I've got a pair of Christmas earrings. Okay, I'm going to put this back now. Put my little tray of earrings aside. And you can see these little earrings? Aren't they cute? My friend Shirley from Pennsylvania gave me these 2 years ago. I wish you could meet Shirley. She's so cute. She's got the hair It's about the same color as Lucille Ball's. And hers is curly too. And if I met her on the street, I'd recognize her just from her curly red hair. She's so cute. I hope she's watching this because I want her to know I say nice things about her. But I sure don't want to lose these earrings. I can't get a good picture on these because it's on the opposite side of my head, you know, from where my light is. But you might can see this one a little bit. And that, well, I like them a little bigger than this so that they show up if I want them to show up. And I've got so many pairs of earrings, but they're never the ones I want to wear. But today I said, okay, it's Christmas time, I'm going to wear my Christmas earrings. So, my glasses, I need to wear my glasses because I never know when I'm going to be reading something. I have to have my reading glasses. And I want you to know, I started hunting. Oh, here's my red ones. Yeah, here's my black ones. Okay, that's not what I want. That's not what I want. These are my gold ones. Well, I hear these. I don't know what they are. I've had them a long time. Not even sure if I can still see out of them. Well, I'll be darned. I've got on the ones I'm looking for. These were given to me for my birthday. They're called snake eyes. See these little dots? That's what you call snake eyes. And they just kind of match everything. Got another new pair recently. I'm not very fond of these. Don't like them. Don't think I'm going to be wearing them. They're a little bit like these, but the color is different. And for some reason, I'm going to put them by the wayside. I'll use them occasionally if I want to read something, but I don't think I want to use them on my videos. So, seems like other people have taken to my cat eye glasses too, and I was kind of using the cat eye glasses for been almost 4 years now, and I've been showing them all along as my trademark. A lot of people like my trademark. I think almost to the point that I'm gonna try something new. So let's get the glasses out of the way. All these glasses. I'll just put them to one side. I'm going to get me a drink of Dr. Pepper because I am thirsty. I had chicken salad for supper. That tastes good. I needed that. Yep. Chicken salad for supper. I finished off the dressing, the sweet potato casserole, the corn. What else did I have? I said the dressing, didn't I? The dressing was really good. In fact, I made an extra pan of it and left it at Jan's house. And Jan just discovered it this afternoon that in the refrigerator, and she called to see what temperature to set the oven because she's going to heat it up for supper. And she and I both had forgotten about that dressing. I thought I wouldn't mind having a little bit of it tonight myself. So I think she's probably heating it up right now, getting ready for supper. So now we've got the Thanksgiving over with. We're talking about Christmas dinner. Come on now. I can live with grilled cheese sandwiches and chicken salad and maybe a baked potato or something for a few days. I'm just not ready for Christmas dinner yet. I'll be ready though when that day comes. And Jessica's going to do the cooking. She's getting to be a pretty good cook. In fact, She sure shows me up. She makes her own whipping cream. I didn't know you could make your own whipping cream. But she made it, and it was good. Then she had an apple dessert, and she made a caramel sauce. I watched her make the caramel sauce. I've never made caramel sauce in my life. I don't ever remember my mother making caramel sauce. She made everything else, but that was just one of those things she didn't make. And I watched Jessica making it, and then she let me taste it. That girl is going to be a really good cook. But when you're cooking just for yourself, you really don't do too much cooking unless you get a spell on that tells you you want to cook. So you spend the whole day preparing things, and sometimes they turn out, sometimes they don't, but I think she's not going to have any problem like I had. I may be trying to learn a few recipes from her. I went in the kitchen and remembered, oh yeah, I made chicken salad last night. That's what I'll have for supper. And I'll have to admit, it's good. So I just had chicken salad with some new little crackers. You know, the Ritz and Nabisco and what have you? They have come out with so many different kinds of crackers. They've got them with cranberries in them. They've got them with seeds in them. They've got them with, I can't think what all. And most of them are kind of hard crackers, but they're good. They're good crackers. I've got about 5 different packages of crackers in the kitchen. I threw away 2 pints of whipping cream. Outdated. The girls said, Mom, Granny Pat, throw that away. I said, well, it's still good. No, it's not still good. Past the expiration date. I never paid a whole lot of attention to expiration dates when I was cooking. And I ain't been poisoned yet. But they sure stick to the rules. Before I went to Jan's house the other day, I poured out 2 containers of half and half milk, 2 boxes of chicken stock and chicken broth. Stayed in the refrigerator too long, too late to use them. But I wasn't cooking, and I like to have things on hand so that when I get in the mood to fix something, I don't want to have to go to the grocery first. That talked me out of making it. I want it in the refrigerator, and all I have to do is open the door, get it, and use the item. That's the reason I'm always throwing away different products. It's because I buy them just in case, and that just in case never happens, and I end up pouring it down the sink. Yeah, you wouldn't want to hang around me very long. You'd get really tired of my habits. So I looked in the refrigerator, and I don't know what I was looking for in the freezer section. And I'm digging. See, I've got one of those old refrigerators where the freezer section's at the top. Open the door. It should be big enough for one person, but no, nothing's ever big enough when I'm using it. So I'm looking, I'm digging. What am I looking for? And sour cream container falls out. I don't know about you, but I save all of my sour cream containers. They're a perfect size for leftovers. But the thing I don't do is label them. Sure, I'll remember what I put in that container. But there's 5 of them in there that look just alike. Which one is the sour cream? Well, this one fell out, hit the floor and went pfft. There was brown sugar all over my kitchen floor. How many of you put your brown sugar in sour cream containers? Yeah, I know. You don't do things the way I do. That's the advantage of living alone. Because if somebody lived with me, they would be telling me, get lost. Because they couldn't put up with my bad habits. Oh, golly. But I discovered a broom I didn't know had. Nice little broom. And I was able to sweep that brown sugar up. No, I didn't put it back in the sour cream container. I wouldn't do that. I swept it up in a little pile, and I got my wet paper towels. You know, it's not hard to get stuff like that up off the floor. So I wet my paper towels, and I wrapped around that brown sugar, and one leaf at a time, I got it all up off the floor. So, but I've still got more brown sugar in another bag in the cabinet. And you know how brown sugar is. You have to know how to store it, or it gets hard as a rock. So far mine is still pliable. And I just might decide to make another sweet potato casserole, because I use brown sugar with my casserole. So that's what I've been doing. I did my little video on English grammar. Now, some of you probably didn't like the things I said, but you know, you don't have to live by what I say and what I do. But sometimes I feel like some of the things I tell you might be useful. We all learn as we go, and I've been around a long time, and I've had a lot of time to do a lot of learning. Well, I won't tell you how much of it I learned or absorbed. But you know, English grammar is something we all deal with, if we're Americans anyway. We all speak English. And I really want to be good at it. I don't want to make a lot of mistakes when I'm talking to someone and use incorrect English. Now, I may say a few things that you don't recognize the words, but I think we all do that, especially when we spill brown sugar all over the floor. We might use a few of those words. I didn't this time, though. Didn't say a word. I just swept it up, threw it away. But every now and then I feel the need to make corrections in my English grammar. And by correcting myself, I feel like I'm teaching you too. Because I've learned, when my children were in elementary school and they came home studying the English and what have you, I was saying, who's your English teacher? Who's teaching you this English? They weren't learning. They were not learning proper English grammar. I go back 80 years. Yes, 80 years I was learning English grammar. I had the best teachers. They saw to it that we learned it. They drilled it into us. And I've never been sorry for that. Never. I had one teacher, she had the most beautiful cursive handwriting I've ever seen, and she would do it on the blackboard with an A. The A was perfection. The B was perfection. And I would sit and watch her write on the blackboard, and I would take my pad and my pencil, and I tried to copy her handwriting. I got good. I even got to where I could do a little calligraphy. But as the years have gone by, those things don't work anymore. The hands don't work anymore. When I try to write, it's not that pretty handwriting I used to have. In fact, if I write a check, I just sign it and say, here, you fill it out for me, because I just barely can read my own handwriting. There are days that it's legible, but that's part of growing old. That's the least of my worries, actually. But it's still the things that you fall back on, the things you learned in your early years. And I've tried to remember, but it isn't easy to remember it all. And the stories, you know, my two sisters that are still living, one of them will be 97 in January. Can you believe that? She still drives. Whoa, yeah, she still drives. But she's in a small town. And between the three of us, we tell the same story. And you get 3 different versions of that story. You've seen that too, haven't you? You've looked at somebody and said, I don't remember that. That's what we do. Where did you get that? Well, that's what I remember. Well, they don't remember the thing the way I remember them. So in other words, we could write 3 different books and you wouldn't know we were from the same family. But between the 3 of us, there's a lot of water that went over that dam. Yeah. But my mother could tell better stories than we ever dreamed of having or telling. I think about people, they don't like me to correct their English grammar, and I don't make a habit of doing that. But people can be offended when you correct them. And I look at my mother and I think she went to the 6th grade, and then Pap decided girls didn't need educating. What were they going to do with schooling? Their place was in the home, cooking and a cleaning and sewing and working in the gardens and having babies and raising kids. Women didn't need to go to school to learn to read and write. So what my mother learned, She learned it through the 6th grade. Now I've seen things like she picks up a piece of paper and she writes a recipe on that piece of paper in cursive. Well, I didn't think about them having cursive back that long ago. We're talking about 120, 128 years ago. I can't even believe that I can talk about things that happened that long ago. I can't believe my mother lived 120 years ago and could tell me what it was like living in those days. Oh, I told you all about my great-grandmother going to the World's Fair in St. Louis. That was the most exciting thing to me ever was. But it was even more exciting when my mother told about it. They would sit on the swing in the old, what you call dog trot between the house, the open space between the house and I think it was the meal room. Swing was hanging there. And my great-grandma Brooks would sit in that swing in the afternoon, and she could look out over the hills. There were hills on all sides, and she'd see the sun going down behind the hills. And the girls were my mother and two of her sisters that climb up in that swing with Grandma. And she would tell them about when she was a young girl. And then she told them about going to the World's Fair. Their eyes would just bulge with excitement, especially when she told them about the goose that laid the golden egg. Now I have no idea what that story was like. Can't begin to imagine. That gold egg was this big. So I don't know what the goose looked like, but I'm sure Grandma Brooks gave them a really good picture of the goose that laid the golden egg from the World's Fair. Okay, I've gone from one subject to another subject to another. And I'm trying to think, what have I missed? Oh, I don't know. Oh, I meant to tell you. I should have told you a few minutes ago. One of my favorite movies is showing right now on American Movie Channel. James Dean in East of Eden. I've probably seen that movie 5 times. But it's still one of my favorite movies. Now, every time I say it's one of my favorite movies, you're probably thinking she's told us that 30 times, because I had a lot of favorite movies. And the movies were different back in those days because they were more like real life. Another one of my favorites was, Sarah, Plain and Tall. Now, doesn't that have a ring to it that sounds like a movie you'd want to watch, doesn't it? I can't even tell you who starred in it. And I've been waiting and waiting to see them show it on one of these channels. Sarah, Plain and Tall. And I've thought, that's the kind of movie that could be made about my mother. Wouldn't it be a dandy if somebody could take her life and her family life and the life of her own children and make a movie? I know it would be good because I've heard about it all my life and I've lived part of it. And if it was good to me, I know other people would like it too. Yeah, that's another one of the things you dream about. Yeah, wouldn't it be nice to have a movie made of your life? Well, the Walton did it, and I've said time and again, the Waltons sure can't top my family. They could do a series on my mother. And think about it. Think about her name. Her name was Molly Elizabeth. Can you think of a prettier name than that? Molly Elizabeth with an I-E. Yeah, I've always loved her name. I think she got the prettiest name in the family. So, I was talking about going to the kitchen and eating, wasn't I? I ate the chicken salad and it was good. But what I was telling you about the crackers, Nabisco and Ritz crackers and all, they keep coming out with another new cracker. And I'm standing there looking at one box after another thinking, which one do I want to try? I've got 5 different kinds of crackers in the kitchen now. The club crackers. Club crackers are my number one crackers. They go, the size is right, they work right for parties. They're very good, just basic crackers. I always have a box of club crackers on hand. The others, some of them, I think I have some that have cranberries in them. Those cranberries are hard. Nuts. I don't buy anything that's got rice in it. I figure it's going to be too plain. But I had new crackers. It was a new one they had on sale. So, of course, I had to buy a package if they're on sale and they're brand new. And they're little bitty ones about this big. They're about hexagon shape. So that's what I had with chicken salad tonight. I had, about a week ago, I had some leftover chicken, so I made more. I make chicken salad about every 2 or 3 weeks. It comes in handy for lunch. And the doorman, young doorman, he's so handsome. He got the prettiest white teeth I've ever seen. And he was helping me with my groceries and all, and I said something to him. I said, do you like chicken salad? And he said, yes. I said, well, I'm bringing you down some. So I came upstairs and I made him sandwich and some potato chips with the chicken salad, because he's very hard to please when it comes to the things he liked. And I was even shocked when I asked the question. He said, yes, I like chicken salad. So now I've found something that I can give him as a favor, because he helps us bring our groceries in and that sort of thing. And every now and then I have to ask him questions about what to do in my car, and he comes out and helps me with that. So anyway, now that I've found out he likes chicken salad, I'll be making it more often, and I'll be sharing it with him. So I'm looking around to see if there's anything that I could talk about. Well, I'll tell you what, I had a magazine here a few minutes ago. What to do with it? It was a cooking magazine, Christmas magazine, I think. Well, I picked it up and put it somewhere else. When I do that, I'll never find it. Nope, not on the couch, so I'll have to find my Christmas magazine somewhere else. We'll talk about it later. Oh, I did want to show you this. You know, we've talked about the products that I sell. I don't talk about them much, but Jessica designed these things for me, and she's in charge of selling them, and they're on Etsy. They're under Chit Chat Granny Pat, and you look under Etsy and you can find. Now here, let's take a look. I'm wearing one of my shirts. See what that says? Chit Chat. Wait a minute, let's get down near the bottom with Granny Pat. Don't you just love the little face and the cat eye glasses? Well, that's supposed to be me. So I don't wear the shirts much, but I keep apron, the mug. I put the mug away. I was going to show that to you too. But those mugs are wonderful coffee mugs. So anyway, I said it's time I wore one of my t-shirts. I've also got sweatshirts. So if you're looking for Christmas items, you can get the shirt for men or women. There's tote bags, apron if you work in the kitchen, nice big apron. Got all this same design on it. You've got the covers for your iPhones. The mugs are my favorite thing because you can get them different colors. You can get them pink and white and red and black, and I don't remember what else. But they're very nice products, and if you're trying to find a simple little something just extra for Christmas gifts, go on Etsy, bring up Chit Chat with Granny Pat, and it'll show all of the products. And keep in mind, Jessica did the design, and I don't know how much has been sold because I don't promote them that much. I forget about them. But then there's also my books, my 3 books. Yeah, you know, I published the first one in 2017. That's 8 years ago. Isn't that 8 years ago? Yeah, 8 years ago. So instead of writing another book, you get to watch me on YouTube anytime you want to, day or night. I hope I haven't bored you totally to death, but there won't be much you don't know about me when I get through talking. I've told you about all there is. Have I told you I'm left-handed? Well, I'm left-handed. It used to be a problem being left-handed because everything was made for the right hand. But somebody caught on and realized, hey, we've left the left-handers out, especially the school desk. Worst thing in the world when you're having to sit down at a desk that's made for a right-handed person. And I think they still make those old desks. But after a while, you get used to being left-handed. And some of us also write upside down. Yeah, I'm one of them. I don't write like this. I write like this. Where's me a pen? Here's me a pen. I write like this. And I write upside down. Yeah, it's a hindrance in many ways, but you learn to live with it. So you know I'm left-handed. I'm not cross-eyed yet. At the rate I'm going, I probably will be. Okay. I'm going to cut off. I'm going to go in the kitchen and find me something else to eat. And then I'm going to see what movie is on after East of Eden. James Dean was such a good actor. And I'm going to let you go. What was that noise? I'm going to let you go. Take another look at my pretty earrings. Take my glasses off. I like that. I don't wear eye makeup anymore. I just didn't see the point of it. So what you see is what you get. And if you don't like it, just close your eyes and listen. Because if you can't look at me, you sure can listen to me. And I'm full of gab. Talk to you later. Have a good night.